Dear students, today we are going to talk about the cholinergic system. As you know that the autonomic nervous system is divided into two major parts. One is the cholinergic system and another is the adrenergic system. Since acetylcholine is the main neurotransmitter of the cholinergic system, so for the study of cholinergic system, we have to know about acetylcholine in detail. Okay, so first let's see how acetylcholine is synthesized. Okay, to talk about acetylcholine synthesis, I have tried to show you the steps of acetylcholine synthesis in a simplified way in this figure. Okay, so acetylcholine is synthesized within the presynaptic cholinergic nerve terminal, and this is the presynaptic cholinergic nerve terminal. Okay, and it requires two raw materials. One is choline and another is acetyl CoA. Acetyl CoA is synthesized within the mitochondria. So within the presynaptic nerve terminal there are a lot of mitochondrion. Okay, you can see a mitochondria here. And within the mitochondria acetyl CoA is synthesized. Okay, acetyl CoA then comes from mitochondria into the cytosol here. Okay, and choline comes from actually from diet. Okay, so choline from diet enters into the presynaptic nerve terminal by choline sodium co-transport mechanism. So sodium choline co-transporter is also called CHT or choline transporter. So by this transporter, choline enters into the presynaptic nerve terminal. Then this one, that means choline and acetyl CoA, reacts to form acetylcholine here. Okay, so choline and acetyl CoA comes together to form acetylcholine with the help of choline acetyl transferase. This enzyme, choline acetyl transferase enzyme. Okay, now after formation acetylcholine should be stored, and acetylcholine is stored within the vesicles. This is a vesicle. So within the vesicles acetylcholine is stored. How it is stored? Acetylcholine comes into the vesicle by a transporter that is called acetylcholine proton counter transporter, which is also called VAT or vesicle associated transporter. So acetylcholine comes into the vesicle with the help of VAT. By this mechanism acetylcholine is stored. Of course there are some other substances stored within the vesicle like ATP, phosphorus, etc. But since we are talking about acetylcholine, I have shown you here this neurotransmitter. Okay, and after storage acetylcholine is released whenever action potential comes through this axonal membrane. Then acetylcholine is released here in the synaptic junction. Okay, so this is in short about acetylcholine synthesis. Now you can see the pathway here in plain English. The steps are written here, and then the storage, how acetylcholine is stored and then release. Okay, so you can have a look at these steps if you like. And then the fate of acetylcholine. What is the fate of acetylcholine? Acetylcholine is destroyed immediately after its function. So immediately after release acetylcholine is hydrolyzed by the enzyme choline esterase. Okay, but the choline is recycled. Now let's talk a few words about acetylcholine esterase. That means the enzyme which breaks down acetylcholine. Okay, acetylcholine esterase is of two types. One is acetylcholine esterase and another is pseudocholine esterase. Acetylcholinesterase is called the true cholinesterase, and pseudocholinesterase has another name, that is butyryl cholinesterase. Acetylcholinesterase is located at all cholinergic sites and serves to inactivate acetylcholine instantaneously, but butyryl cholinesterase is present in plasma and elsewhere, and probably it serves to metabolize ingested esters. Okay. Now, drugs acting on different sites of acetylcholine synthesis. There are few drugs which we can imply and we can modulate the steps of acetylcholine synthesis. So, look at those things. Okay. First, let's look at hemicolinium. Hemicolinium blocks this transporter, that means CHT, the choline transporter, sodium choline transporter is blocked by this drug hemicolinium, so that choline cannot enter into the presynaptic nerve terminal. Okay. Then another drug which is called vasamicol. This blocks the VAT transporter, vesicle associated transporter, which blocks the entry of acetylcholine into the vesicle. Okay. So vasamicol blocks this path. And next, you can see here that acetylcholine is released from the presynaptic nerve terminal into the synaptic cleft, right? So this release can be blocked by botulinum toxin. Botulinum toxin actually blocks this. And there is another drug or toxin, you can say, this is actually a toxin, which is called black widow spider toxin, and that stimulates this release, which causes excessive release of acetylcholine and causes acetylcholine depletion actually. Okay. So these are the few drugs which can modulate the various steps of acetylcholine synthesis, and you can have a look at this. Now let's go to the cholinergic receptors. There are two types of cholinergic receptors. One is muscarinic receptor and another is nicotinic receptor. Muscarinic receptors are G protein coupled receptors and nicotinic receptors are ligand gated ion channels. Okay. Let's talk about the muscarinic receptors. The muscarinic receptors are again divided into 5 subtypes from M1 to M5, but the major 5 subtypes are M1, M2 and M3. Here the M1, M3 and M5 are functionally similar, and M2 and M4 are functionally similar. And there is not much receptor selectivity for muscarinic agonists. If you apply a drug, that will act on all the muscarinic receptors. Okay, so there is not much receptor selectivity, but muscarinic antagonists have shown little more receptor selectivity than the agonists. Okay, now let's look at the important muscarinic receptors. M1, M2 and M3. Now let's look at the location. M1 is mainly present in autonomic ganglia, gastric glands and central nervous system. M2 receptors are located mainly in the heart, okay, and sometimes in the cholinergic nerve endings. And M3 receptors are mainly located at visceral smooth muscles, iris, ciliary muscles of eye, exocrine glands and vascular endothelium. Now come to their function. For M1 receptor, it causes membrane depolarization, it can cause gastric secretion, relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter, and in CNS it can cause learning, memory and motor functions. Okay. And M2 receptors. Now via M2 receptors, acetylcholine can cause bradycardia. How it causes bradycardia? By inhibiting the SA node and the AV node. Okay, so mainly M2 receptors are present at SA nodes and at AV nodes, but not at the ventricular muscle. So acetylcholine does not cause decreased force of contraction. It causes decreased heart rate. Okay. Now, what are the functions of M3 receptors? Through M3 receptors, acetylcholine can cause contraction of smooth muscles, glandular secretion, and vasodilation. Okay. Let's come to nicotinic receptors. There are two types of nicotinic receptors. One is NM, another is NN. Okay. NM is for muscle and N for neuron. So these receptors are selectively activated by nicotine and blocked by tubocurarine or hexamethonium, and these are ligand gated ion channels, as I have mentioned already. Let's look at these receptors. The NM receptors are located at the neuromuscular junction and they cause muscle contraction. And the NN receptors, they are actually located at autonomic ganglia, adrenal medulla, and central nervous system. What are their functions? Their functions are membrane depolarization, catecholamine release, and stimulation or inhibition of the central nervous system. Now let's talk about autoreceptors and heteroreceptors. What are autoreceptors and what are heteroreceptors? Okay. Autoreceptors are the receptors which are present on the presynaptic neuron. As we know, the receptors are present on the postsynaptic neuron and the neurotransmitters are present on the presynaptic neuron. But there are some receptors which are present on the presynaptic neuron and they modulate the release of the neurotransmitter. So these are called actually the autoreceptors. Now, what are the implications of these receptors? What are the effects of these receptors? Number one, stimulation of stimulatory autoreceptors. If the autoreceptor is stimulatory and if you stimulate that receptor, that will increase the release of acetylcholine, okay, the neurotransmitter. And number two, if you stimulate the inhibitory autoreceptors, that will cause decreased release of acetylcholine. Okay. Now, what are heteroreceptors? Let's look at this. Adrenergic systems and cholinergic systems have opposite effects. Okay, and when the adrenergic system is working, it will suppress the cholinergic system. If it does not do that, it cannot work, right? So adrenergic nerve endings have cholinergic receptors and cholinergic nerve endings have adrenergic receptors, and these receptors are called heteroreceptors. Okay, through these receptors one system suppresses the other. Hope you have understood. Thank you.